Okay, thank you for coming to my talk. First of all, I prepared so many slides for 20 minutes talk, so I will share the URL of the slide later, so please check the details for details on the slides. And I came from Japan, and yesterday, and this is my second visit to San Francisco. I'm really glad to be here because I'm willing to meet. I will be able to meet many Scala enthusiasts here, so that's very exciting for me. But I have a great community also in Japan, so let me inform you about the upcoming Scala Large conference in Japan. That is Scala Matsuri. The Matsuri means festival in Japanese, and the last one had over 500 attendees there, and the next one will be held at the same venue. So it will be the same at the same scale. So now the organizers are looking for the speakers until the next weekend. So let's submit your talk to them because they will provide travel support for speakers. So if you're interested in the conference, let me know. I will support you there during the conference. That's it. Yes. So let me introduce myself more. I'm working at the Smart News, which is a Tokyo-based startup making the news aggregation app. We use the machine learning and the data science to deliver quality information to our users. This is Smart News. Smart News is available on the App Store and the Google Play. And at the Smart News, we heavily use Java and other JVM languages. Of course, it's Scala, and Kotlin and Groovy are also used for limited purposes. And a portion of our backend services are built in Scala for the data analysis system using the PathSpark, and also some of our art system for Japan edition. So for example, using the Finagle to build the high traffic servers to deliver the ads to the users. And also we use Play and Skinny to build web apps. And we have an office on the 2nd Street. So, and we are looking for the talented engineers in San Francisco as well. So if you're interested in our service or company, please come and visit us anytime. Yes, and as an individual, I have been a Scala enthusiast for over 5 years, and since Scala was still 2.8. I started some project, but I also maintained existing some project as well. Yes, so I think I'm the most active maintainer of this project, the Scala and the JSON4S and the Scalate. Recently I resumed the Scalate project, and I just published the new version for Scala 2.12. And the Scalate JDBC and the Skinny is the popular project I've started at some level. But I'm afraid they are not so famous in the US, but actually they are widely accepted in Japan and the nearby countries. So many companies already use them in their serious project. Oh, sorry. So that's good to hear that all the library I mentioned in the previous slide were Scala 2.12 ready. I think it's quite important. We have to wait for the deployment of the third-party library when upgrading the Scala version. In the past, we saw the same situation every time Scala major version was released. So I'm trying always publish the new version as soon as possible. Okay, let's move on to the main theme of this topic. This talk, it's about Skinny. The Skinny project is about not only web, but basically the core part of the stack is web framework which is highly inspired by Ruby on Rails. So Skinny Web Framework is also full stack. That means it provides the parts they used very often out of the box. These are the components by Skinny. So let's get started with Skinny. If you're a Mac user, you can install the Skinny command by Homebrew. If not so, you can download the bank project from the official website. The other thing you need to prepare is just only JDK. Even SVT SVT command is not needed. So after creating a new project, by hitting the Skinny run command, and the web server will start and await for the changes on the project. And the scaffolding is the well-known feature of Rails, so of course Skinny also has it. The different thing is that you can specify the Scala type such as option for each attribute. And after creating the table, you can see the auto-generated CRUD pages like this. By default, the Skinny offers bootstrap-based layout, and it's worth especially mentioning that the generator automatically reflects each column's data type and the requirement to the validation rules, such as required, the max ranks, the specified data types such as date, the timestamp, the Boolean, and so on. So in that respect, I think the Skinny generator might be better than the original Rails generator. And one more interesting feature is reverse scaffolding. It generates CRUD from the existing database tables. And furthermore, reverse scaffold all command, reverse scaffold all, the scan all the table in the same schema. So, So now let's watch the video how the reverse scaffold all generate for all the table of Redmine. As you know, Redmine is the famous bug tracker built with Rails. The project has the 55 tables in the same schema. Then now you can see the generator is creating, not created yet, but yes, that's it. Now you can see the generator creating 55 scaffold at all. Then not only that, the generated command can compile without modifying the code at all. Maybe that will be finished. That's it. So, and then this is the generated pages. Basically, it's already ready to use as is. Okay. So in the next part, let's dive into the details of Skinny stack. But maybe I prepared too many slides here, so I will explain briefly. This is the diagram of the Skinny stack. The main part is a web framework, but others are completely independent from the web framework. And the web framework is built upon the raw layer named Skinny Micro. The Skinny Micro is a fork of Scala. I myself am still a maintainer of the Scala, but I forked it for Skinny because I needed to change its internals a lot while focusing on the Skinny optimization and new requirements. So anyway, that's why I forked it. Furthermore, Skinny web framework has these things like Rails. And the Skinny Micro, this is a tiny web app example built with Skinny Micro. The web app, simply predefined the input JSON string. You can build the single jar file to invoke the JT servers. So it's very lightweight to start a small web app. This is a routing DSL. Basically, it is fully compatible with the Scala Trans 1. And this is a controller layer. Basically, this is likely Rails, but Actually it's a Scala, so it's a statically typed, and yes, it runs on the JVM. This is a form validation example. Basically, it's also likely similar to Rails, but the interesting point is the definition of the validation rule is very human readable. And when calling the validation method, the web framework automatically binds the errors into the view templates. I know it is a little bit mutable until you call the method once, but after all, I think such approach is useful when building the ordinary web apps. So if we don't abuse it, it's okay for such a purposes. This is Skinny resource is CRUD controller like Rails resource routing. The scaffold command generates this controller. The next one is OR mapper. The Skinny's OR mapper is highly inspired by Rails active record, and it is built upon the lower layer named Scala JLVC. The Scala JLVC has been there before I started Skinny, so I chose it as the foundation of the new ORM. And this is an example on the entity class and its data mapper. I made it. It is made from only 5 lines of code. The data mapper naturally provides many useful methods for insertion and update and deletion. And this is more example to show queries. Basically, the API is very similar to the active record, but it's type safe at some level. And this is a helpful for logging. I think it's quite useful for debugging. It shows you the actual SQL and the span time and the line number of the code where this query is actually issued. So this is the Skinny ORM. I believe it's quite useful for many purposes. The last one is a template engine. The Skinny chose the Scala as the default. The reason for that is that with Scala, we can promptly reload the pages after changing them in the local development. I believe it's quite important to for making the rhythm of web development even in Scala. Interestingly, the Scala offers the several template styles, so if you're interested, visit the official website for details. And the Skinny also has more optional modules, but I should skip them, not to run out of time. So I introduced them with the single phrase. This is the built-in auth integration with the many major providers, of course, including Scala, Twitter. And the Skinny mailer is like action mailer in Rails. It's a handy DSU to send emails. This is a Gmail example. This is a factory girl is the copy of the famous Ruby gem to make a fixture data for testing. And Skinny is Scala framework, so we cannot help supporting Scala.js. You can start Scala.js with no preparation, like this. You just hitting the Skinny Scala.js column watch. Just watch the changes on the Scala.js code. And of course, the source map is available thanks to the greatness of Scala.js project. So I think it's quite amazing. Finally, I'd like to share you a real example to prove the reusability of each Scala component. This is a diagram of Skinny stack again. And these blue components are usable outside of the Skinny web framework. So I will show you the 2 real examples with them. The first one is the pre-integration. The URL on the GitHub repository shows you how to use the Skinny ORM and the Skinny task runner in the Play applications. And as you see, there's no difference even if it works in the Play apps, because it doesn't depend any Play specific APIs. and the task runner is same. The next one is the integration with Spray. Yes, I know the Spray project is no longer active, but before the situation happened, I created the module to integrate the Spray about 2 years ago. So it is still quite smooth to integrate with them. This example shows you how to integrate Skinny validator on this Spray project. But recently, I'm planning to make something to integrate Skinny things with the Akka HTTP, but it's still work in progress. I hope to publish the initial version as soon as possible. So that's it. If you're interested in Skinny or any others, please ask me anything anytime during the conference. Thank you for listening, and I'm looking forward to see you at the Scala Matsuri in February. So thank you.
Thank you.